A ballistic missile fired from a North Korean submarine, a frightening capability that Kim Jong Un is racing to perfect. Tonight, the U.S. Navy and its allies are practicing tracking North Korean subs. It's the kind of show of force that makes Kim Jong Un furious. President Trump is well aware of the growing threat, telling the Financial Times, quote, "If China is not going to solve North Korea, we will." The White House offering no new details on what actions the U.S. would take on its own. So far, waiting for China to pressure North Korea into curbing its nuclear program hasn't worked.
The North Koreans have gotten pretty good at acting like the crazy drunk neighbor with a submachine gun at the end of the block, and the Chinese don't want any trouble. And when the Chinese push them a bit, they start throwing bottles out the window and shooting guns into the air, and usually Beijing backs off.
What are the president's options for going it alone? One is to speak directly with Kim Jong Un.
Who knows? There's a 10% or a 20% chance that I can talk him out of those damn nukes.
President Trump floated the idea at least 3 times on the campaign trail.
I just don't see how it happens. And the bottom line is that North Korea will not give up its nuclear programs and its missile programs. What Kim Jong Un wants is for the president to at least implicitly acknowledge that North Korea is a nuclear weapon state, a fellow nuclear weapon state.
Another option? Put more financial pressure on North Korea by aggressively going after Chinese banks and companies that help prop up Kim's regime.
The president is going to be reluctant to do that for fear of retaliation, but he could still choose to do that. The Chinese companies more than likely would cut off their business with North Korea, but the retaliation could really hurt the United States as well.
That leaves the most daunting option, a preemptive military strike. General Walter Sharp, who commanded U.S. and allied forces in South Korea, says that should be an option if the threat is imminent. But with more than 28,000 U.S. troops near the DMZ and the South Korean capital only about 30 miles from the border, the blowback could be devastating.
They could inflict a lot of damage on Seoul because of all the artillery that is within the range of Seoul. The number of missiles that they have that they could launch into South Korea, they could cause a lot of damage.
Now, for that reason, General Sharp says the United States has to make sure Kim Jong Un understands that any U.S. retaliation for an attack on South Korea will be much worse than anything Kim Jong Un fires southward.